Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you like these videos, please give me a like, give me a comment, consider subscribing. That would be great. Today I'm working in this 7x7 Stonehenge paper. And I'm going to do a mixed media collage and painting. I want to use this masterboard. I made this in a different YouTube video, and I will link it in the description box down below if you're interested in watching me make. I make three different ones of these. This is tissue paper that I've spread gesso on, and then I've placed a second piece of tissue paper on top and squished them together. I love this paper. The texture is amazing. And I do it in white so that I can then paint the papers any color that I want. My goal today when I set out was to do something minimal. And you're going to see very quickly that I fail miserably at this. But the idea and the concept at the beginning was to try and make something minimal, something quick and easy and, hopefully fun and beautiful. And I thought with that piece of collage paper that has so many different patterns and colors, I thought that was going to be my focal point, and I was just going to have some little things in the background, and that it would be just a fun, quick little collage piece. And probably even by this point, I've gone past simple, minimal, easy. But I love making art. And so I'm just, following my heart as I do this and doing what inspires me. I hadn't even set out any kind of a palette, which is why I'm painting directly onto my paintbrush because I don't have a palette or a piece of palette paper available. I wasn't expecting to paint, but I just couldn't resist. So here I have this copper that I'm going to paint onto this piece of tissue and gesso because I know I want my collage to have copper in it. And on the green and the yellow, these are not my normal color. I use copper a lot, but the green and the Indian yellow, I just don't use a lot of yellow ever in my work. Yellow doesn't I don't know, I'm scared of yellow, so I try to force myself to use yellow every so often to see if I can sort of get over my fear. I cut this collage piece backwards so that I wouldn't focus on any particular part of that master board. And as I'm cutting it, I changed my mind about the shape I was going to create, and I end up with this kind of weird shape, which at this point I should have stopped and reconsidered. But I thought, no, I was going to be experimental. I was going to try to go outside my comfort zone and try something new. So I kept that weird shape. And I'm gonna do my best to use it, to incorporate it. But you can see, even fast forward, I've sped this video up and I can still see I'm like hesitating. I'm not sure where I want it to go. I'm not sure how I want to use it. These were all bad signs. Well, not bad signs, but these were all signs that maybe I was not working in a very intuitive, natural way. I was kind of trying to force the situation. I do love this collage piece, that tissue paper that I painted. I think that looks really good. I'm going to adhere these with this glue stick. You could use matte medium, you could use gel gloss, matte gel. You can use a variety of things. You could use PVA glue. I just, like I said, I thought this was going to be a quick, simple collage, and so I was just going to glue everything in to keep it simple. This is quite thick. It's on mixed media paper, and it did not want to stay down. so I just have to encourage it to flatten out. And here I'm putting in my big collage piece, and then I add one more little teeny collage piece, and I actually like that little tiny one with the dots and part of the arches. It looks really cute. And this copper just looks beautiful. So I wanted to add a little bit of contrast, so I'm using a blue Neocolor II crayon just to add some doodles. They're water soluble, so you're going to see me use my paintbrush. It just has water on it, and I'm going to spread out the color. The blue ends up being a really good choice for me because I love the way it looks, and later on I'm going to come back to the blue. It really does inspire the finished product as well. So I'm going to add a little bit more just to bring some white back into the front. My paper at this point is quite wet because I've now added this acrylic and I've added the water with the water soluble crayon. And so this is where it's going to finish for today. Well, I mean, in the video that day. And this is what it looks like dry. This is what I come back to. And it's fine, but I don't love it. There's a lot of things that I don't love about it. And I'm a recreational artist, so I don't have to worry necessarily about selling my art. And I know that a lot of people do sell their art, but I'm just creating because I love to create art. So the fact that I didn't love it really bothered me, and I wanted to make it into something that I loved. And so I'm going to start fussing with it again. This is, like I said, another day. It had actually been several days since I'd worked on it. I love this water pen. This is just water, and it's just going to blur out those lines with the Stabilo all pencil. This is one of my favorite art techniques. It creates a really painterly look, and it's nice and smudgy, but you can see that the lines stay pretty straight. So here's where that blue really inspired me. I'm going to come in with this ink and add more blue. This is a very subtle color. So it's adding really more of like a tint or a color wash. And then I like it so much, I just color wash everything with it. I am careful to avoid the places where I just added water to that Stabilo all because that's still water soluble and is going to move. So here's where I finally decide this is not working for me. So I want to talk a little bit about don't be afraid of your art. Don't be afraid to make a bold move, to make a big change, to think outside maybe your predictable patterns. And when something isn't working, make a bold move and see where it takes you. There's a YouTube artist called Denise Love, and she says the art supplies you don't use are the only ones that you waste. So don't worry about using your art supplies and making many layers and even starting over and trying again. So I put that little title up. It's time to abandon ship. From here on out, I'm really changing up what I've done. I'm not liking it. I tried to add some mark making to see if I could fix it. It didn't fix it. So now I'm not starting over because I'm not going to completely cover everything, but I am abandoning the ship I started on. Which is a good move for me. Like I said at the beginning, making a painting with minimal work, minimal layers, minimal anything minimal is a challenge for me. So I'm leaning into where I think my own personal strengths are, and I'm going to try to salvage this little painting. I really like now what's happening on the left side, but I feel like now I have two different paintings. I have sort of the left half, which is new because I've removed the collage pieces, and the right half, which is still old because it has those original collage pieces, which I'm trying desperately in an act of art desperation to incorporate and try to bring those two halves together. So I'm repeating patterns from the top. Those straight lines are repeated. I'm bringing the green over to the other side now to see if I can harmonize or make both halves work. But yeah, here goes one more piece of collage. I felt like I was kind of wrestling with this artwork. It didn't come easy. It felt like a work that I was fighting it. But I mean, really, I was just fighting myself and my own intuition and my own style, which is not a bad idea. I mean, try something new, go outside of your comfort zone. I think that's I think that's wonderful. As you can, that's what I started to do at the beginning, but ultimately I came back to something I was more familiar with. So this is a piece of rice paper that I've just scribbled on, and I'm putting it down with the matte medium, and because that green paint is still wet, it pulls it up and creates a green glaze. And here's the moment of indecision. Don't be afraid of making a mistake. Go for it. And I remove that final piece of collage. And it leaves this big scar on my painting. But as soon as I removed it, honestly, I felt so much better. I felt much happier, even though I knew I had some work to do to fix this, to cover that scar. I felt better about it, and so it was the right decision. And from here on out, I kind of have a vision. I'm feeling like this looks very jungly, maybe a little bit safari, and I just feel like now I'm moving in a better direction. It's fun to go back. It's fun for me to go back and watch this process and to kind of remember what I was thinking when I was making it and the challenges I was having in my own mind, and being afraid not to mess it up. Knowing, I mean, I was making this video to share with the public, and obviously I didn't have to share it. If I didn't like it, I didn't have to post it, but I knew that's what I wanted to do with it. And so there was some pressure to create a piece of art that I liked, that I was happy with, that I wanted to share, and you know, just feeling like everything was going wrong. So that stencil that I used is Animal Prints. It's really old. There's no indication on it of a name or a company even that made it. I probably bought it at an art supply place. I mean, I don't even remember. I've had it for so long. So it's just Animal Prints. And I'm using my water pen and that Stabilo Woody just to add some marks, which are going to be very light when they dry because they're so watered down. They're going to dry very faint and pale, but it will add some depth and some interest. I'm just going through and adding some more of that. Here I'm using my Stabilo all pencil to just make some marks. This is the end. This is I'm now happy with it, and I just want to add some ending touches. You can't see them in the video. You'll be able to see them close up if you look at the painting, and then I'm just using my water pen again to smudge and smear those Stabilo marks, because I just want them to be very faint. I hope you enjoyed watching this process. I enjoyed watching myself go back through and see all of the changes I made. Don't be afraid of your art. Embrace the process. There are lots of things that I learned as I made this for myself that I'm going to remember the next time I make a piece of art. And the next time I get into trouble making a piece of art that I don't like, I'm going to remember that, you know, here I salvaged it. So I hope that you enjoyed the process. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm happy with the way it turned out. Here's the close-up. You can see some of those final small marks. You can look through and see so many of the layers of paint and various mixed media that I added. I'm happy with how it ended, and I guess now I'm ready to go do an African safari. Thanks for joining me. I hope that you have a great day, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.